Today's adventure begins as a bird flies by, peeking out my window in Switzerland as the recording of this Monday, December 8th, 2025. I am in Switzerland. Zurich, Switzerland. You see some of the mountains in the distance. You see a top of a cathedral of some sort. Very cloudy day. Yesterday when I arrived, very stormy, very rainy. And it looks like today is going to be similar to that, but at the moment there's no rain. I'm heading down to meet up with the tour group to get some information about the town I'm in. Very small elevator. Welcome everyone, Adam DeWoo here. I'm inviting you to join me in Switzerland. Shall you? Feels great out here. Well, that little sculpture right there is someone by the name of Alfred Escher. Going over into the train station where the meeting point, according to the information I got, the tour I paid for, is said to be. The tour starts at 11. Supposed to be there a few minutes prior. Still got 28 minutes until the tour technically begins, so strutting around inside the train station, this magnificent building, this huge building in here, huge, which I will be utilizing during my duration here in this country. It's nice, the hotel's just right across from the main train station. A massive chandelier up there, all decorated for the holidays. It's a chandelier of Christmas lights. Ah, I love a good Coca-Cola advertisement. And when I think of Coca-Cola, I think of Americana, obviously driving through the South and seeing all the Coca-Cola ads, ghost signs spray painted and faded on the side of brick walls. But check out Santa here, guzzling one in Switzerland. I like that. I also like this, piping hot caffeinated beverage. I might get a Coca-Cola later though, that may have tempted me, but for now, coffee. I believe this is the right spot that the email told me to go to. The welcome center here. There it is, Monday, 11 a.m. Zurich. Taxi driver said last night some people pronounce it Zurich or Zurich or Zurich. 11 a.m. This is the meeting spot. A little stay warm cap. Oh, here's a quiz that I would fail miserably at because I know absolutely nothing yet, but hopefully after the tour, I'll know a couple spots. I'll keep cool and keep warm, depending on what time of the year, what the temperature is. Last night before I checked in my hotel, or after I checked in my hotel, walked around a little bit. And while I was walking around, I noticed one of these driving along the train tracks, and Santa was driving it. Pretty sure it was one of these. Not the ornament version, but the real life version. A little roar. Wow, they got their merchandise on point here. Switzerland magnets, and I'm probably gonna need a Switzerland magnet. Maybe a Zurich magnet. It would be kind of neat to purchase one of these Swiss Army knives, just because it would just make sense being here in Switzerland. I don't know if you could take these on a plane, back on a plane though, right? Look at this thing. That is the mother lode right there. That's a good one. You know, I figure since I'm still waiting a little bit, I might as well get one of the magnets that are over in here. Maybe one or two magnets. Little cuckoo clock right there. Another cuckoo clock. You got the fondue and the cheese. You got these cows. You got the assortment of different items. The I Love Switzerland is pretty cool too. I feel like I should get this because obviously I'm staying here. All right, the tour is beginning. Kind of in the middle of it. There's probably 20 people behind me and 10 in front of me. Pretty good sized group. And the guide is doing an English tour and in German as well. So she's doing the narration in both.
From Paris, yes, exactly. From the Arc de Triomphe, because 1790.
Oh, there you go.
Switzerland, and he brought the idea of the French Revolution with him, and that was the very slow beginning of the democracy here in Switzerland. And that's why Zurich wanted to be a big city like Paris.
Zurich.
With many things from there.
She's pronouncing it Zurich.
The second train station, 1871, they said we also want to have such a nice building like the Arc de Triomphe in Wittenberg. Important. He laid the basis for the business place in our days. So he was not only a businessman, he was also a politician. He was quite a long time in the National Council.
Right, that statue is the Railway King. They pointed out earlier.
Everybody knows he was.
She was saying that he was the king of the railway here in Switzerland. He was loved by many and disliked by many. Very powerful man, she was saying. And a lot of his businesses, he had a lot of insurance businesses as well. And the sculpture in front of the train station that he's known for, you know, creating all the railways here. He's also facing his businesses that he created that are down here. The buildings that he created are down here as well. So he's facing towards his businesses.
Topic as well from the Paris, they want to have a nice boulevard like Champs-Élysées. It's a little bit smaller but very famous. It's one of the most famous streets in the world. Remember when you go shopping, you close your door, you get to the lake, you roll on your credit card. And at the moment, we have, not now, but in the afternoon, we switch on again our Christmas illumination. It's called Lucy. We love it so much. That's it's inspired by the song Lucy in the Sky. These are around 12 kilometers steel rope hanging above the Bahnhofstrasse and 11,500 lead lamps. Funded by a city walk. Just for your information where we are, that's the railway station. It's out of the city hall. We are still outside of the city hall, approximately here. And the entrance to the railway, that's on the left.
There's a little time between the English narration and the German narration. I'll try to show some of the stuff here. This is John Heinrich Pestalozzi. Passed away in 1827. She was saying that Zurich wanted to be Paris, so it was kind of set up in a lot of ways like Paris is. And the inspiration for the train station came from Paris.
He lived approximately 100 years before in the 18th century.
Founder of the school system.
And that means that he didn't believe anymore in everything but the atomic effect of it. That's the school system. Thanks to him, you have the right for a school education. Not only for boys, also girls or girls. And he founded also a new system how to teach, because until this time the goal was to attract people for the
Singing Christmas tree.
Was too small by the time, and that's why they moved it here. So you have to imagine there are kids standing in there, they have their red hats, and they're looking like kangaroos. And there is a timetable there, it's known at 5:30, 6:30, they're singing for 15-20 minutes. It's really cute. So you should, if you are here, have a look at the singing Christmas tree. Stadt Zürich. Das hat sich 1893 geändert, dann haben wir die erste Eingemeindung und da haben sie die ersten Gemeinden zugenommen. Das ist natürlich die Stadt massiv gewachsen.
building here at one time, she was saying, was a prison and an orphanage. And then they realized it's probably not good to have an orphanage and a prison combined, and they moved the orphanage.
Genau, bis zum Trocken.
I think the group's more like 30. I think I said 50. It was more like 30 people. Oh, look at this cow.
If you believe me or not, one of the hobbies of the citizen is swimming. Have you been here yesterday?
Forse quello che ti ho detto ieri sera.
Very brave in this time weather. We went over the river, so. Normally from the lake to the main train station is forbidden to swim because of the boat traffic, but afterwards we have a nice river bar, it's called Blacken, and you check it.
It's a cow on a boat.
Stadt Zurich. Okay, I have a question for you as well. How many fountains do we have in the whole city of Zurich? What do you think? You can make competitions here if you want. 2,000, she said 650. Like 2,600. Other suggestions? Andere Ideen? 800. 800? 800? Not so bad, could be worse. We have almost 1,300 fountains in the whole city of Zurich. And
All the water here is completely drinkable. So any of the 1,000+ fountains, you just grab a cup or just sip it from the fountain. If it's not drinkable, there will be a sign. If there's no sign, everything is drinkable.
Ah, sta lì qualcosa, guarda.
Oh, these pigeons. Pigeons and fountains.
make nice pictures. I explain it in German. I'm sure it's
what startled them, but man, they swooped off. Startled me so much that my finger was on the stop record button. Everyone up here kind of let out a little bit of a scream. Flew over everyone's head quickly. Hitchcock would be proud. Or Mary Poppins feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Yeah, I guess pigeons would be more Mary Poppins than Hitchcock. Ooh, watch out for flying poop.
And the building on the left-hand side, you can see with the brown cupola on it, that's the area, that's the Institute of Technology. And that's the main building. On the right-hand side, behind the church tower of the Prediger Church, that's the university. And these are only the two main buildings. There are many, many buildings that belong to the university. And that's right all over the city.
Kind of tough to hear the guide with the sirens.
50,000 students. It's approximately every eighth person is a student. Einstein, he was student and later on as well professor at the ETH.
Oh, Einstein was a professor here.
It was the second university in Europe where
that what she said?
studied. The first one that was of course the Sorbonne in Paris, and the second one here in Zurich, and that was in the 1870s. I don't know in which hotel you're staying, just in case you're not staying in one of the luxury hotels. I show you now where you could stay next time. You see a little bit more right inside the grey building in front of the forest. Not very nice. Not a nice one. It's the right hand side of the crane. Can you see it? And up in the forest, on the right side up, it's a green spire in the forest, and that's the Dolder Grand Hotel. That's one of the luxury hotels we have. And I see the mountains showing up because these
City Hall's underneath the cathedral chapel over there.
This is our skiing area. Within approximately 1 hour we are there. And you cannot see the mountains all the time. It depends a little bit on the weather. Yesterday morning we could see them very well. Then it started raining and they disappeared. You have questions for the viewers?
Yes, she just repeated. Einstein studied at the university up there. That's pretty cool. Way up there.
Because it's also a very historical place. That's why
Church bell ringing right there in the center of the screen.
Ehrlich, das merke ich ja nicht einmal. Nur wenn Sie erzählen, das haben eine gute Sprechstimme. Ja, gut. Und Tonalität, verändert sich. Wenn ich im Aufbruch bin. Ja, ja. Evidently there's a tiki bar down here. Ja, wir dachten, wir haben nur 3, aber jetzt haben wir 4, 5. Vielleicht noch sechs am 15. Januar, wann ihr eure Gebühren. It has a very big clock face. Unfortunately, we cannot say anymore. It's the biggest clock face in Europe. No, I will ask our Swiss. Have a look at
Biggest
them.
clock face in Europe.
That's why we have to add a tower. It's the biggest clock face on the tower in Europe.
Oh, on a tower.
You can think of 110 years ago, there was a fire watcher sitting up there where you see the small bay windows above the clock face. And he was watching every night, every quarter hour, for the reference if there was a fire. If there was a fire somewhere, he blew a fire horn, held out a red light in the direction where the fire was. But that the cities knew in which direction that I wanted to go away from them because yesterday they went to the moon and without asking me. It was a little bit annoying. So here I want to tell you a little bit about the guilds because the guilds were and are very important. Also the guild is Zunft. So I come back to the date 1218 when Zurich was a free imperial city. So they wanted to rule themselves and they moved the center of power from the Lindenhof down here to the river Riemann and built here the first city hall. This is already the third version but at the same place. And the idea was that the citizens they rule themselves. But as always some families took over and the others they didn't have any political rights. And that changed only 1336. With Rudolf Brun. Rudolf Brun, he gave all the handicraft guilds which already exist.
Yeah, this is a steep cobblestone here.
Oberdorf. But when we talk about the Niederdorf, I mean the whole street and all streets beside it. And this is the street where you should come if you're hungry or thirsty. There are a lot of restaurants and bars. And as I promised you, I show you other streets like this past.
So many fountains.
Instead of throwing them away, they send it next to here. It's much cheaper and it's also something that has food.
So evidently ASS here means eating bar.
Dentro un negozio, stiamo camminando.
Not far away from the Niederdorf, and it's not the only reason why I stopped here. You can find the other reason. Haben Sie eine Idee, warum Sie sich noch hier ranhalten? Nur weil es ein Regulator ist? Over 100 years ago, this was the refugee area. I mean, I have to say, where the trees are, there were houses, and it was narrow and dark, and it was not yet so nice here. And also this nice boutique beside it, it was a butchery without any air conditioning, so it was quite stinky here. And it was also the prostitution area. That's why it was cheap here. That's why the refugees they could stay here. And I have to say, Switzerland was not involved, not in the first and not in the second world war. Were built together the more.
This is a refugee area in Lenin
That's why they pulled down
that Lenin lived in.
and created a very nice
She also said this was used as a butcher area, and there was no air conditioning, obviously, so the area was very smelly. That's really fascinating, though.
Und da nebenan war die Metzgerei mit Wursterei ohne Klimaanlage, also es muss fürchterlich gestunken haben. Und das war auch der Rotlichtbezirk, also die Prostitution war.
It's like a big bathtub, doesn't it? Love the cobblestone hilly streets.
As you saw, probably it's also famous for its nice decoration. It's not only during Christmas time, it's so nicely decorated all the year. And there was a huge range of sweets and sandwiches and so on. It's the most famous coffee shop here. The other shop I want to show you is behind you. It's a family-owned shop. It's Schwarzenbach, it's called. They have a huge range of spices, tea, dried fruits, and so on. And what's really special, they roast twice a week coffee here. And when they roast coffee here, exactly here you don't smell it. They have a good ventilation. And so they spread it all over the city. And they sell the coffee beans in the shop. And if you prefer coffee in liquid form, they have also a coffee bar beside it. And as you know, you see also a cheese restaurant which is called Le Désolé. That sounds very, very good. I mean, you already can smell the cheese when you are passing. And after that, I will come to some other Haben Sie verstanden? Nehme ich an. Also, Geneva, it was again another one. It was Johannes Calvin. That was Zwingli. Zwingli, he came on the 1st of January 15. Ceremonies during the Mass, and already found no decorations in it. Only in the 20th century they decided to make the churches a little bit more comfortable. That means they decorated the windows. The most famous windows are on the opposite side of the wall in the church. They are decorated by Marc Chagall, the French-Russian artist. And because of the Chagall windows, but they don't ask me, so that's why. Okay, and what you can see is very here on that side.
All right, 2-hour tour completed. That's pretty good. Got a little preview or a little bit of history of the town, the city. These are some of the waterfowl that can be seen around here on the lake or the river. Kind of craving some fondue and sausage now. She was talking about how fondue cheese dish is very popular here. She also said there's a certain sausage they have in Switzerland that's pretty good. So see if I can find either of those, either or both of those. All right. I do like cheese. Here's a pizza place. In crust, we trust. This kind of has like a retro vibe to it almost. Look at the neon sign there. Yeah, I need some cheese and sausage. Yeah, this would be the place to grab a bite to eat. Lots of restaurants, places to grab a snack, Christmas market in full effect. Ooh, not 7-Eleven, but 7-Day Shop. It's almost like a 7-Eleven, but it's a 7-Day Shop. Very similar convenience store style. I've heard of KFC, obviously, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, what about ZFC? Zurich Fried Chicken. Not KFC. I don't know if Colonel Sanders had anything to do with this one, but they're definitely utilizing the ZFC. Zurich Fried Chicken. One thing I've noticed about KFC is they're very popular in international countries, not just the US. Very, very popular. There might be a KFC here, but there's definitely a ZFC. Alright, sat down at this place called Restaurant Brasserie. Johannetier, set 1901. I asked if they had fondue at this one. They said no, but they do have some sausage, so I'll go with sausage, and then maybe another day that I'm here, I'll do some fondue, or maybe later I'll get fondue. I'll get fondue at some point while I'm here. Sausage sounds pretty good. I'll have to ask though, because I'm not really sure what the menu is. Veal classics, pork classic, beef classic. Schnitzel. Yeah, I don't really know what half the stuff is. I know what a schnitzel is, but spicy salami. Club sandwich. Cheese dishes. They have some kind of cheese dish. Cheese sandwich. I'll have to ask the waiter. There we go, bratwurst. Maybe I'll get the bratwurst. And these are the two magnets I got earlier. I got one of... Oh, it's almost stuck to the table because the table's made out of metal. I got one of Zurich, and I got the cuckoo clock. They wrapped them up in the little bubble wrap, but I unwrapped it to show it in the video. And actually, I sat down and asked for a table, and then I said, "You have fondue, right?" They said, "No, we don't have fondue at this one." So that's why I'm just going to do the sausage. But there will be fondue on my agenda. But I just didn't make any sense to get back up after they seated me. All right, this is what we're dealing with. Doesn't come on a bun. Doesn't come with mayo or mustard or any kind of items like that. The guide was saying that it's frowned upon, at least in this city, maybe all of Switzerland, to put condiments like ketchup and mustard on a sausage. And look at this. Almost looks like an omelet, right? You got the like fries, like almost like home fries kind of style. I don't know what kind of sauce that's going to be. That's like grilled onions mixed out in there. Yeah, I don't know if this and a fondue might have been too much, but let's take a bite. That's warm. Alright, I gotta admit the sausage is pretty good. The sauce here, I don't know. I'm not too keen on the sauce, but the sausage is good and the onions are good and the potatoes are good. Alright, that was pretty good. The sauce I was trying to describe was actually gravy. I don't know why the word eluded me at the time, but it wouldn't be something I would add to my normal eating repertoire, but it was good. I was in Rome earlier on this trip. It was about a week ago. Gosh, maybe longer than a week now. Don't lose a track of time. A couple weeks ago. Had a couple win in Rome food moments. And I just had a win in Switzerland moment. I still need to get some fondue though, but probably not today. I'm pretty full from that sausage and those potatoes, but who knows, maybe later. But at some point, get my cheese fondue on. And evidently they filmed a couple scenes from The Bourne Identity. Matt Damon. Right through here. Not a lot of the movie, but I guess just a couple scenes. We're here in Zurich. And evidently, as I was looking it up, almost all of the TV movies starring Richard Chamberlain back in 1988, which I gotta be honest, I've never seen. Maybe I need to look that up and watch it. There are more scenes from that version here in this city than the Matt Damon one, even though there are some a couple Matt Damon clips here. So I gotta look up that TV version. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna find a record store. I got a record I want to buy, or a record from a band I want to buy. Hopefully they have one. One thing I like to do when I'm in certain areas, certain countries, certain cities, places, are buy albums from bands from those areas. And the thrash doom heavy metal band Celtic Frost is from here. Hellhammer, the band that was before that, they broke up and then started Celtic Frost. They also started here. And I looked up to see where maybe some of the spots around town, you know, where they maybe started the band and practice and things were. And I guess their original practice space has been changed and progress has taken over and that whole building's been taken down. But I thought, how cool would it be to maybe buy either a Hellhammer album, which are probably pretty hard to find, and probably more common would be the band that followed up, Celtic Frost, the bigger of the two bands. Yeah, but they're from here. They're from Zurich. So if I can grab one of those albums, it'd be kind of a nice little souvenir to take home and listen to once I'm back home finally. This is the largest city in the entire country, by far. 450,000 people, give or take, live here. The fire department's out doing something. Oh, there's a thrift store over here too.
Ja, ist gut, danke, Adi.
All the houses up on the hillside there, very beautiful. River's a little muddy and dirty. Going at a pretty good pace though. So underneath all the scaffolding and construction work, there's a record store called 00, right over there, right in that little cubby hole there. Actually passed right by it because I didn't see it because it was so well hidden. Looks like it has a lizard for its mascot. 00's Rare Groove. The selection inside was awesome. Man, that place was packed full of a lot of kind of really rare stuff and all the different genres. Obviously, I don't have a lot of room to take a lot of stuff home, but they had 2 albums that I was looking for. They had them. The heavy metal section was out of control. I mean, there was like bands in there, and they were just like deep cut bands. Yeah, 0-0. Highly recommend. Good place. Save the vinyl, and I got 2 albums to show what I got. They only had 1 Celtic Frost, but it's a rare re-release of the original 8 demos, which is kind of what I want. I kind of want some of their original stuff. So I'll show the albums I got. Here's the albums I ended up getting: Procreation of the Wicked and a Hellhammer. This is awesome. Sealed, probably a re-release. Yeah, re-release from 2020. Yeah. That's the hotel I'm staying at. St. Goddard, Gotthard. Staying. Actually, I don't know what side I'm staying on. Maybe up there. I'm on the top floor. Well, not the tippy top, but the one, below the ceiling on the top floor. I think the 4th and 5th floor. Yeah, 5th floor. And the taxi driver last night, when I was going from the airport over here, told me that St. Goddard still exists in the form of a tunnel. He was saying something about like one of the longest tunnels in the world was named after Goddard. And that's where the correlation of this hotel comes in. Can't remember the distance of the tunnel, he told me, but it was very impressive, the length of it. All right, now I have my bearings a little better. The train station is right there. Right over there. And that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.